2, 3, 4. The hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Okay, sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. Stop doing that. That's when you feel like a big dope, because they're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you reach out for the hot tag and you go ahead and make your own comeback. Knock it off. That's when you should quit wrestling, and you're better off rolling in thumbtacks. AEW, the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Hey, double claps. Let's go, Bob Squad. Can hear you at home. The hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Hey, what's going on, Bob Squad? What's going on, you crazy cats, you rabid dogs, you screaming Vikings, you filthy barbarians, rubbing salt in a wound, throwing gas on a fire, adding insult to injury, 24/7, 365, all the way live, third time's a charm, Three's Company, getting 86th on a whole 9 yards, painting a town red until the cows come home, frozen pigs flying in hell, a one-trick pony, beating a dead horse, hogging the covers, staining the sheets, pissing blood and bleeding piss. There's no stopping you, you wild savages. What's going on, everybody? Alright, talking about Monday Night Raw, the very late, and forgive me, please, NXT is going to be late too. The very late Monday Night Raw review. The later I do these, the smaller the numbers are, but at least I got you guys to back me up, and that's incentive for me to do them as fast as I can, but that's life, you know? I try my best. We'll just shoot the shit. We'll chew the fat. We'll whistle Dixie. We'll wax philosophicals. Rubbing elbows, greasing palms, baby doll, doing the thing. Oh, I got to turn on my light here so I can see my notes. Oh, we'll talk business afterwards. No, let's do it now. Yes, thank you. Thank you all for who've already checked out episode 3 of Beach Town, which came out yesterday. I'm very most grateful because I think it's a good project. I think even if somebody doesn't want to comment, or they just want to watch anonymously, and if it just helps them from a distance, that's perfectly fine. So I am, but whatever. As long as it's each one gets is I think is a little bit better than the last one. They are difficult to produce. Editing is not hard. Uploading and all of that, and promoting the damn thing is hard. You got all these social media applications that the kids are into, where they work on mobile devices with satellites. I don't have time to explain how that works, and all those things. And I do enjoy the butchering movie reviews and giving you the worst movie reviews possible with the best possible outcomes for those films. But we're not here to talk about mental health today. We're talking about one of the least mentally healthy things that you can possibly do, and that's watch modern pro wrestling. Holy segue, Bob. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, the Hulu edition of June 14th, 2021. Hulu edition. And a little something funny that happened on the end to me by accident. So we'll talk about that. The show opens, hold the phone, back the buggy up, stop the press, Bob Squad. The show opens with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. Can you? And then a picture of Vince McMahon Sr., who I just found out recently gave Andre the Giant the Giant name. Not that creative, but it stuck. We open with a package of Alexa Bliss and a doll Lily. Holy crap. Well, this is funny to me. Alexa Bliss makes the excuse that we're going live on the road, and Lily the doll needs a timeout. Which means they know people are going to boo this stupid crap out of the building. And it wouldn't matter on the live events or house shows, if you will, and if you're not familiar with the wrestling jargon, a house show, as it used to be called, or a live event, is just simply a show, a WWE show or a wrestling show that is not on TV. So if the crew from Raw wrestles somewhere on a Tuesday instead of Monday, they just go to that town and have a show, and there's some matches and probably some extra fun shenanigans, but nothing too serious. Matches are probably a little bit longer. They're actually more fun. Side note, hey, let's just do this. When I was living in New York City, I went to the Brooklyn half of the 25th anniversary, January 2018, January 20-something of 2018. The Monday Night Raw was happening in two different places: the Barclays Center in Brooklyn and the Manhattan Center, which is pretty much across the street from Madison Square Garden in the middle of Manhattan. Now, travel-wise, these two places are very close to each other, or not close at all. Because if you're going by car or subway or whatever, it's very difficult to move around. And they had the Miz do both places, and he won the Intercontinental title from Roman Reigns in front of us. We got to see Stone Cold got to see Steve Austin stun Vince McMahon live, and it was amazing. But we also did not see the Undertaker, who was in Manhattan, etc., etc. I also saw a Raw tape. Where am I going with this? I'll tell you. I'm getting there. I also saw a Raw taping in Barclays in October of 2014, where Dean Ambrose pretended to use the Q train. In no way did he really use the Q train. It would have taken way too long, but I think they just filmed him at the subway platform, getting on him. They probably just picked him up at the next stop. And he came out with a hot dog cart and beat up the heels at the time, which were Seth Rollins, I think Randy Orton, and Kane, and sprayed them with condiments such as mustard and ketchup. Okay, I was there for that. I was also there for house shows or live events in Madison Square Garden, where AJ Styles, as a good guy, won the U.S. title from Kevin Owens out of nowhere. And there was a special on the network where Big Show lost to Brock Lesnar, John Cena beat Seth Rollins in a cage. What's your point, Bob? My point is, even though they weren't on TV, the live events, as just a fan attending the show, if you can set your ego aside that a tiny digital dot of you that may or may not be you might be on TV for a second, the live events, so much more fun. Oh my god. There's a weird special feeling like, oh, these superstars are performing just for us. And everything's filmed all the time anyway, just in case anything happens. The cameras are always rolling, but there's no commercial breaks or whatever. You don't feel like you're a studio audience just being told like you're watching a sitcom. It feels like 15,000 of you are watching a sitcom at those TV tapings a lot of the times, because you're watching your match, and then, hey, someone's got a chin lock on someone for 4 minutes. Gee, I wonder if it's a commercial break. They really take you out of it, and you have your hard camera side where hardly anyone's sitting behind the hard camera. I mean, they are actually. If the place is sold out, it's sold out. Money's money, you take it. But you just don't. There's a lot of little things they do to just remind you that, hey, you are not important, but we kind of need you here anyway. Like, everyone cuts a promo with their back to you. if the hard camera side, if the side behind the hard camera isn't all sold out, it's just really weird. But whereas a live event, they walk around and they look at you and yell at you and this and this, and they're not as scripted. No one's in a back, I assume. There's no writer scripting every word they're gonna say at a live event. Like, you would just, that would be so counterproductive and a colossal waste of resources. So why would you do that? So house shows are more fun. It is 8.5 minutes. I've talked about nothing. Alexa Bliss and Lily. So she says Lily's gonna do a timeout, and that's where Nia Jax comes in. Everyone has to sell for this stupid bullshit for months and months and months and months. And Nia Jax, I knew it. Comes in and gets to act like she's not scared of. Nia Jax is the one who gets to act like she's not scared of Alexa Bliss. And they're gonna have a match later. Alexa Bliss is gonna wrestle a match. Novel idea. Too little, too late, guys. I like Alexa Bliss. I like her when she wrestles. She's not bad. Is she the greatest wrestler? Is she Charlotte? No. Is she Becky? No. But she's athletic, and she knows how to wrestle the WWE style. There's no. It makes more sense. It makes some sense for her to actually be wrestling matches, and I guess she'll wrestle Shayna at Hell in a Cell this Sunday on WWE Network or on Peacock if you're in the States. Nikki Cross enters the ring. Okay. Charlotte Flair is talking to a blonde lady, and so Charlotte talks about she's going to wrestle Rhea this Sunday, but Rhea Ripley, or Charlotte Flair, says this to the blonde lady. The blonde lady says this to the other blonde lady. She says she knows her and Rhea are going to have the best match this Sunday. How did we lose track of this? If you're supposed to be in a fight with someone coming up, you don't hear a UFC fighter say, hey, we may be for a lighter, I don't know anything about MMA, but we may be fighting for a lighter championship, and maybe it's not necessarily the main event. Maybe it's 2 or 3 matches down from the main event or whatever. And I know that when so-and-so and I get into the octagon, I'm trying, guys. We get into the octagon this Saturday on pay-per-view. I know we're going to have the best and most entertaining fight of the... No, they don't say that. Because they're not trying to have the best fight. They want to win the fight. Because there's a championship and money and fame, etc., at stake. So if you're wrestling someone, if you're competing in a real physical fight, contest, whatever you want to call it, then why would you say into a microphone, we're going to have the best match? You just said we're going to cooperate the best in the most entertaining way compared to anyone else on the show. Charlotte Flair, you're breaking my heart. Unless someone wrote that for you, then please, I'm going to, in my own Bob headcanon, some idiot made Charlotte Flair say that. Because Charlotte Flair doesn't usually say dumb things, or they all gave up. She's still dressing like Cruella. They're going to milk that thing forever. Charlotte Flair wrestles Nikki Cross. It took 5 seconds. 5 seconds of wrestling before Rhea Ripley had to have her music play so she can walk out to the match. Charlotte hit Nikki with a boot to the gut and then did like a hair whip back to give Nikki a back bump. Charlotte and Nikki wrestle for a couple of minutes. Charlotte catches Nikki in like a high cross body attempt on the outside of the ring, off the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring, by the way. And does like a fallaway slam on the outside, which is impressive because just to catch Nikki like that. Yeah, of course, Charlotte is. I mean, for anyone who thinks they're giving Nikki a push, no, they're not. Nikki is taking Asuka's place as the keep them busy before their match role. She literally tagged with Asuka. Did I do this speech last week? I forgot. I think I did. Nikki's not getting a push. Nikki's getting a mini elevation, so she can be enough of a character to keep them busy for a few weeks. And since that was the last Raw before Hell in a Cell, her job is done. They just couldn't do it with Asuka again. That's all it was. So, anyway, Nikki gets her ass kicked and wins by count out. And then Nikki gets to celebrate for about 5 seconds before Charlotte Flair beats her ass. So they're, forgive me, but I think that's what I'm getting at here. And then Rhea hits Charlotte with her move, and Charlotte sells up. Charlotte, she is so great selling. I know I sing her praises every week. I'm sorry. She has no problem, and I don't mean this in an insulting way. She has no problem temporarily, like, looking ugly. You know what I mean? Because later in the night she busts her nose. She has a bloody nose. But whenever she's mad at someone, she'll mess up her hair. She'll make a snarling face. She doesn't seem to mind getting a bloody nose or a bloody lip or whatever. And she'll just make an ugly, mean face like she is not. She is mugging for the camera, but she's not always making it look like she's mugging for the camera. She's just not afraid to be like, yeah, I'm the queen, I'm flamboyant. I think a very Ric Flair-like qualities, and much like Ric Flair, she's not afraid to also be like, hey, you need to understand that all this flair on the outside is because there's some darkness on the inside. There's some hatred or some ugliness, some jealousy, some bitterness, some bad qualities on the inside is what that face conveys to me. And Ric Flair had it too. So I think it's terrific. Don't see enough of it, but we have a recap of Riddle and Kofi from last week. I'm so hungry. Let me just take some water for a second. Excuse me, Go Up Bob Squad. Oh, I'm very thirsty. Okie dokie. Riddle is talking to Jeff Hardy, which is hilarious because I love Jeff. I do. I appreciate Jeff Hardy. He's having a normal conversation with his face fully painted, and his eyes are closed because he does that thing where he paints giant eyes over his eyelids. So when he opens those eyes, there's other eyes with contact lenses on underneath and all that. And you can tell his eyes are closed because he's not looking at Riddle even close. He's looking way off to the side and not looking at Riddle. And you know he's going to do it and blow Riddle's mind and open his eyes, and he does. And Riddle thinks he has four eyes. And Jeff advises Riddle to just talk to Randy Orton. Or listen to Randy Orton in a tag match or something. I don't know. It was to get Jeff on the show. Naomi's there with no entrance on the Hulu edition anyway, and she wrestles Evolution, but not really. Eva Marie, with her pink hair, debuts to wrestle. She has Piper Niven from the UK NXT show at her side. We'll get to the big elephant in the room in a second. No, fuck, I didn't mean it like that. I'm not being a dick. It was just an expression. Piper wins. Piper's great because I like. Piper wins. She beats Naomi very quickly. The announcers are confused as to why Piper's wrestling and not Eva Marie, which makes perfect sense. We still haven't got an explanation for it. What doesn't make sense is the announcers have no idea who Piper Niven is. They don't know her name. They've never seen this person. It's not like if she wrestled a match or two on UK, I'd be like, okay. She wrestled Kaylee Ray for the UK Women's Championship 400 times. Kaylee had the thing for damn near 2 years, and it felt like a year. She was just wrestling Piper. There's really nobody else. Because Tony got hurt or went to NXT or whatever. So, it's pretty much like Kaylee Ray or Walter or Tyler Bate or Trent Seven or any of them, or Joe Coffey, any of them showing up, Ilya Dragunov, and them going, we have no idea who this is, and they will do that. I've been joking with my buddy back and forth for months now that Walter will appear on Raw, and within 2 months he'll have a funny dancing gimmick. No, it's doomsday. Should not have said that out loud. But Piper Niven, who has no name, wrestles for Eva Marie, and the announcer literally said, the ring announcer, the winner of this match is, and then never finished it. And then Eva Marie took the microphone and said, Eva Marie, I win. And like, okay, well, at least she's clearly a heel, and I was wrong about that. I thought she was going to be an honest to God. We were supposed to feel inspired by her for some reason. Happy to be wrong. I don't mind being wrong. Being wrong is good. That's how you learn things. No one ever learns shit from being right. That was philosophical, Bob. Pardon me. I'm hurting today, folks. So I'm going to get some water. Guys, I woke up extra early for a phone interview, so it's a briefing, which got me a half-hour Zoom interview for tomorrow morning, but because it was a phone interview, I didn't really need to get sleep for it, because it was a phone briefing. It wasn't even like a Zoom or whatever interview. So I just kind of got a couple of hours of sleep and woke up, and then I was like, it was too late last night to record this thing with the thin walls. I just thought it was a dick thing to do to my neighbors, just to talk about wrestling, because everything is louder. Like after midnight, when everything else dies down, every noise you make is way louder, and I just thought it was a shitty neighbor thing to do. Even though they all deserve it, I just didn't want to stoop to their level. So that is what it is. So they're having Piper win, I guess, Eva Marie's matches, so they'll keep that going for a few weeks. Eventually they'll give her a name. What I'm hoping is, because Piper's a bigger gal, is that she's not looking to Eva Marie for inspiration, because all Eva Marie does is work out and look hot. Like, I don't know. I'm afraid of where it's going, is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. I hope she is on TV plenty. I hope she makes money. Piper. A lot of people online I saw saying Naomi deserves more. Well, Naomi's had a job there for life and for a while, and she probably will for life. And if Naomi hasn't been wrestling on TV as much, and at least she hasn't been wrestling on the Hulu edition, um, if Naomi had been on TV for a while, picking up wins and looking like it was going to go somewhere, and then she lost in a minute and a half to the Piper Niven under some name, then I'd say yeah. But if she's not featured and she's just suddenly on TV, like I don't have a problem with her losing like that. Jeff Hardy's a legend. When was the last time Jeff Hardy won a match on TV? Every time he's on, he loses clean. He loses to Elias or whatever the hell they're doing. Oh, Drew McIntyre's talking to an Irish guy, and he comes up with the nickname. Oh, someone wrote this. He comes up with the nickname Trashley for Bobby Lashley. Ugh. RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Matt Riddle wrestle the New Day. And then RKO on Xavier Woods, and Xavier Woods is pinned by Randy Orton. And Rhea Ripley talks to a blonde lady, and a guy walks through the shot in the background twice when Rhea Ripley's talking to the blonde lady. Now, I know her name's Sarah Schreiber. I'm aware of that. As a weed whacker outside, you're going to hear that. It's Wednesday morning. Here it comes. They gotta blow some leaves underneath my front door into my living room here. Okay. You must be able to hear that. They're having a good time. He's scaring the shit out of the lizards. So a guy keeps walking through the shot, and you can't really tell unless you just have eyeballs for this stupid bullshit, and you've just been watching too long, or you have some fledgling connection to entertainment business, and you just keep an eye out for those silly things. But somebody was fuming in the back. Someone got yelled at for twice walking through a live shot. Or if it was pre-tape backstage, someone just said, the fuck with it, it's in a can, air it, hope no one notices. It's not a big deal to me, because shouldn't people be walking around back there doing TV things? And Rhea Ripley wrestles Asuka, beats her clean. Asuka's the new Nikki Cross. Love you, Asuka. I do, but I'm just saying, who knows? Asuka could probably do good, really, just to be off for 2 months, 3 months, and come back when they run out of something to do for whoever's on top at the moment. But anyway, Rhea Ripley goes over Chloe, and then Charlotte shows up, and there's a big pull apart. And here's the busted nose that I mentioned earlier. So, and Charlotte realizes her nose is bleeding. So, and again, I love this. So, what does she do? And the top stars can get away with this. If it was Dana Brooke, she'd be yelled at, or she'd have heat, or be fired, or they just look for, we need a reason to cut. But she couldn't get away with it. But Charlotte realizes her hand is bloody from touching her bloody nose, and she runs it through her hair, and you see the blood in the blonde hair. Again, very Ric Flair-ish, obviously. That's one of the things he was known for. You could always see the blood in the bleached blonde hair. And his hair was way more bleached and blonder than hers, because I think she's really a blonde? I have no idea. But whatever. We're used to seeing her with blonde hair. No, I think she had dark roots last night, because I remember looking at the... Who cares, Bob? Let it go. So that was great. Unfortunately, I feel like I've OD'd on Charlotte, Rhea, and Asuka in those combinations a bit. So, is that match even in a cell? Have they told us that? I don't even know. I don't know. We know it's Ray and Roman, and Drew. Maybe it's just the two men's, and Drew and Lashley. Lashley and the ladies are backstage, and an Irish guy interrupts, and MVP yells at the Irish guy. Alexa Bliss wrestles Nia Jax. There's a DQ. So Alexa, of course. So now Alexa, who's been able to thwart Shayna Baszler, who wasn't on the show after all that debacle last week, she's not on the show, which made no sense to me for her to not make an appearance to hype the match, which means that match is going to be all about Alexa and Lily and spookiness, and Shayna is a body to just get this vehicle across. Does Hell in a Cell have fans? Is this the one in Dallas where they're having people? That'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting. Alexa Bliss. So Nia Jax bulldozes Alexa Bliss, of course, and she's not afraid, and she's all powerful, and yada yada yada. To my surprise, they let Alexa DDT and hit a twisty splash thing off the top rope, which Twisted Bliss, I think, was her finish for the time, and make it look like Alexa actually had Nia beat, to my surprise. But I mean, Nia obviously ragdolls her and kicks her ass, and I can't even really complain because that's what you should probably do. Except the thing is, Alexa's been this dominant, mind controlling maniac for so long, but when she gets to Nia Jax, uh, Reginald pulls Alexa Bliss off of Nia, gets Nia DQ'd. Of course, because why wouldn't Alexa be able to get the win over the friend of the person she's going to wrestle on pay-per-view like everyone else because it's Nia Jax? We can't ever be Nia Jax. And then Alexa hypnotizes Reginald. Let's just make it quick. It's a staring contest, and they make weird faces. And Reginald is hypnotized, and Nia yells at him to snap out of it, and Alexa leaves. And I wasn't aroused at all, I swear. MVP yells at the New Day backstage. He's still trying to get in Kofi Kingston's head. Not sure where that's going. Drew McIntyre wrestles AJ Styles. I wish I could be excited about this match, but we know they're going to wrestle for a bit and there's going to be shenanigans. I thought they'd wrestle for a few minutes and there'd be a DQ, and I was right, but I didn't. I wasn't looking at the time on the Hulu show and realizing where else it was going to go. This is interesting. They set up the VP lounge, the couches for Bobby Lashley and the ladies and MVP. So Drew enters and they set up the couch. This part's really dumb. This is one of the least dumb things they do, so I can't really complain too much, but I will because I'm very tired and I have to watch NXT and do one of these again after that. Drew McIntyre enters the ring. He summons the Thundercats. Bobby Lashley is in the MVP lounge. So, did Drew not notice the couches and the whole velvet rope thing being set up, and all of them come out? Like, did this happen in half a second where Drew wouldn't notice? Because he turns around and looks surprised. I can't believe they're there. Well, it must have taken a moment to set up. Where else were you looking at? All of the TV screens that are staring at you? They took the piss out of Drew. They got Drew making the same facial expressions that Roman made in 2015. They got Drew trying to be Cena when Roman was trying to be Cena, and Sheamus in 2013 was trying to be Cena. Knock it off. Drew and AJ have a great match, but AJ's got his bumping shoes on, and they're doing their thing, but it's hard to get excited about it because you know where it's going. There is a DQ. I forget who DQ'd and why. I think it was Omos involved. Omos was there. I think Lashley got belly to belly suplexed by Drew on the outside, and I think Drew ran in or something like that. Anyways, a big DQ, and the Viking Raiders happen to be at ringside because they're gonna lose to Omos and AJ Styles at the Hell in a Cell. So hey, there's a big 6-man. We come back from break. Not even Adam Pearce. We just became a 6-man tag. Except on NXT, it's a trio match, and Lashley's not even there because they say he's getting his gear on, which made sense. He wasn't in his gear, I guess. And Omos only wrestles for one move at a time, so now AJ Styles is wrestling 3 huge guys instead of 1 huge guy. But AJ Styles he's got that job where they remind you your duties are subject to change, and then your job description just doubles forever when your pay never does. This was AJ's job tonight. He had that job. Now he's just wrestling 3 huge dudes, and everyone else called in sick. Lashley does join eventually. In tights. He's oiled. He looks great. And the finish, holy Jesus, there's a bit of a distraction. Drew pins Lashley with his finish. He pins Lashley with the Claymore. It looked great. It was one of the better Claymores. Someone wasn't springboarding off a rope or a buckle or whatever the fuck. it was just flush and clean, and I do think there was a leg smack in there, but still, and Lashley took an awesome bump for it. So good stuff. And I didn't realize the thing is and that was the end of the show. So on Hulu, if you're not paying attention, when you when you're just watching the program and it ends, it usually just bleeds into an old episode of the same show you didn't finish. So it's not uncommon for my Raw or NXT to end and I'm not looking, or I just don't feel like getting up, and it goes back to something from October, or something from a year ago, or something from 2 months ago. So I don't think I was looking, and I thought that was weird. You'd think the main event would be that 6-man and Claymore and Drew and Lashley, and it's just Orton and Riddle wrestling the New Day. And I didn't really understand what the hell was going on. No, I'm wrong. It was not. I apologize. Oh, this doesn't look good. It was Orton and Riddle wrestling Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, who I thought had broken up. I wasn't sure. I'm like, oh, they got back together again? What the hell? I didn't realize I was watching a Raw from April. Because Orton and Riddle were doing the exact same gimmick, and to me, I just thought, well, this is just a weird... I couldn't tell the difference. And there would have even had to have been a different announcer, too. And I couldn't tell the difference. It must have been the General Adnan guy. I didn't even pick up that the announcer switched. And I just thought, oh, they just wrestled New Day today. They're going to wrestle these guys. It felt like exactly the same show. And it wasn't until another Lily package aired right after that I thought, this is odd. Because we saw Alexa actually wrestle a match already, so that would usually be the end of the 98 Lily things they've been doing per episode. All the shows look alike. I didn't notice. This has been a long one. I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you very much for listening and for enjoying Beach Town as well. NXT is coming soon. At some point, very soon, I hope, after NXT, I want to get a video of an awesome care package I received from Ireland, from Boba Hicks of the Bob Squad. I want to show you that as well. I hate that got pushed back, but all the other stuff was time sensitive, I guess. And with all my interviews and whatnot, well, you guys understand. I'm doing the best I can, and I got to look out for Bob and not become broke and homeless and starve. So I got to make sure I don't do that. But, baby steps. Interviews are coming. So thank you all. I'm probably going to upload another one of these today. And maybe I'll take a nap in the middle of the day. And I'll wake up and my back will be stiff like I took a bump on the hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da.